WNST, Towson, usually very, very fortuitous, and they feel nice when you come home and you say, well, what did we accomplish? Kenny Road and I have been at this since the day that we went and stole the Cleveland Browns, and he does sports radio and news talk radio out there at 1480 in the Canton, Akron area, where Ray Lewis will be coming out there, and we'll be getting that word in a couple of weeks. But, Rhoda, I tell you, I thought of you on Sunday. I shot a Facebook Live in the little park where the Jesse Owens statue is there at the corner of 3rd and Lakeside, and I remember Mayor White being out there, and I did your show, and you did my show back in my Nasty Nestor 1990s phase, and it really is amazing because the Colts are coming in here this week, and we're doing the Ghost of Baltimore Football Past, and we have empty seats here now. And then I think about what you poor people have been through, in this modern era. And the fact that 13,000 people even showed up on Sunday is amazing to me, man. I tip my cap to those Browns fans. I really do.
Yeah, they're loyal to a fault, aren't they? You talk about loyal fans showing up ever since Paris Glendenning and Art Modell made that deal with the devil to move the Browns to Baltimore. These fans have still stuck around when they didn't have football for 3 years, and then since 1999, one playoff appearance, and going to tie the Detroit Lions for an 0-16 record, only the second time in NFL history that would be done, and they still show up. Yes, less and less, and more people are calling my show and bitching and moaning and voicing their disapproval, but yet a lot of those people still show up, either tailgating outside the stadium before games or actually going inside the mausoleum there known as First Energy Stadium. So Browns fans, God bless them. It's a football town. Yes, LeBron James is king here, and the Cavaliers are going to be playing in their 4th straight NBA Finals, in my opinion, coming up in June against the Warriors. And the Indians made the playoffs this past year in the World Series 2 years ago, but this is first and foremost and always will be a football town.
Well, and then, how to get that mojo back, right? I mean, here we're winning games, and it's not good enough. The knee
right.
and how easy it is to stay at home. But these tickets are sold, and for an 8-6 football. And you talk about how pissed you still are about Art Modell, and, the Colts are coming in here. This is Baltimore, you know what I mean? Like, whatever angst that used to be there, even that ain't there anymore in regard to the – I mean, it's league-wide, this sort of malaise, but I can't imagine that in Cleveland, a team with 6 or 7 wins that had a little bit of hope that maybe beat the Steelers once and the Ravens once here and again, and a quarterback that you look at and say, he'll be our quarterback next year. But, boy, I mean, there's nothing there, and it felt like watching them run around, like I didn't see anyone that's going to the Hall of Fame, that Myles Garrett even as well, that I say, well, at least they're going to build around that cat. It still feels for John Dorsey like a cupboard that's mostly empty.
Yeah, forget the Hall of Fame, Nestor. What about a Pro Bowl? There's nobody on this team that's worthy of going to a Pro Bowl now that Joe Thomas's consecutive snap and game streak has come to an end, and he'll probably end up in the Pro Football Hall of Fame 5 years after he retires. But other than that, there's nothing on this football team that screams this is a franchise player. This is a guy you can build your offense around, your defense around, maybe even the special teams around. If you had somebody like a Tasker or somebody like that, at least you could be proud of. You're right. John Dorsey's got his work cut out for him. Yeah, he's got a ton of picks and a ton of money, but there are so many holes to fill, and none bigger than the quarterback position. DeShone Kizer is not the answer. His 19th interception last night in the end zone, was a game, or I should say, you can edit this, right? His 19th interception on Sunday was the worst of his career, Nestor. And when you look at a kid that is supposed to be getting better with more experience, he's gone in reverse. He's gotten worse, and he leads the league in turnovers. So John Dorsey's got to find a quarterback either in the draft or in free agency, or as I suggest, both. Draft somebody with the first 2 picks. You're going to have the first overall pick and probably a top 5 pick to go with that. So take a quarterback with one of those 2 picks, and then the $100+ million you have in free agency, go sign one of those veteran quarterbacks, whether it's an Alex Smith if he gets released, or if you have to trade for him because you helped orchestrate the trade to bring him to Kansas City, bring him in here. Kirk Cousins, overpay for him. Do something to bring in 2 quarterbacks next year to better the quarterback room and to try and better this football team, because until that gets taken care of, this team will continue to be the laughingstock, not just of the NFL, but in all of sports under the ownership of Jimmy Haslam, who has 2 failing businesses in Pilot Flying J and the Cleveland Browns.
Well, he might be going to prison, too. The Kenny
Right.
Roda is the way to follow him. It's Roda, not like Rhoda from the TV show, just no H in there. Also, some Pittsburgh background. He's at WHBC.com as well as at 1480 and awaiting the Ray Lewis train. Hey, from the Ravens' perspective, Kenny, you and I watched a lot of football together over the years. This isn't the greatest Ravens team, but certainly playing better football right now than they have at any point this year. Better than I think we thought even possible in September and October. And the veteran guys, Flacco, Suggs, Weddle, Wallace, these are the names. These are the guys making the plays. I like all of that. I like that Sam Cook is showing leadership and dropping balls inside the 5-yard line 15 years into a career. The veteran guys here smell postseason, and they smell a chance to go to Jacksonville and win a football game.
This team is one that has a very fine line if it's going to compete at the highest level. And what I mean by that is, and they've done a great job, especially against the Browns, but then again, who hasn't, of creating turnovers, capitalizing points off of those turnovers, and not giving the ball back to the opposition. And that's their recipe for success. We've seen it over the years when Trent Dilfer led them to a Super Bowl championship. Manage the offense, make a few plays there, but rely on your defense to be stingy in points given up and creating short fields with those turnovers. And that's the way they have to play. If you turn them over, you'll beat them because they're just not explosive enough. But you let them hang around and it gets to the fourth quarter, a lot of good things can happen when you have a solid defense and a veteran quarterback. And if Flacco can take care of the football and stay healthy, and that's the biggest thing, Nestor, how many key players have we seen throughout the league this year go down with injuries, and you look at the effect it has on those teams. An example, the Pittsburgh Steelers against the New England Patriots on Sunday. The Steelers, again, the Patriots, the luckiest team in the history of sports, period. The tuck rule, the catch rule. They played the Steelers last year in the playoffs without, Antonio Brown, and Bell goes down.
Rhoda, stop. They cheat, too. They cheat.
Yeah, okay.
Add that, too. Just make sure you put that part in. Okay.
As well.
Keep going. You were rolling. It's fine. I just wanted to add that because to me, it starts there. I mean, it starts with they cheat.
I agree 100% with you. And you have Antonio Brown go down after Shazier gets injured, and he can't play. And Brady and the Patriots, my goodness, give them credit for making plays when it matters, but they're the luckiest team in football. But it goes to show you that if you have key players, MVP caliber players get injured, it will affect your football team and their chances of advancing in the postseason. And that's why, unfortunately, the Patriots right now, as we speak, they're healthy. They're the favorites in the AFC, and I think in all of the NFL if they stay healthy to win it all. But 2 weeks, a lot of things can happen with injuries, and so teams like Pittsburgh can ill afford to lose anybody. The Ravens can ill afford to lose anybody to injury if they're going to make a deep run in the playoffs.
Rhoda, what kind of man am I becoming when I sit in a hotel room in Cleveland and openly cheer for the Pittsburgh Steelers and feel even a modicum, even an iota, a scintilla of bad vibe because they got screwed at the goal line on a play that, as Tony Dungy has said, as Brian Billick has echoed here this week, at every other level of football all of my life, that's a catch and that's a Steelers win. And it didn't work out that way. And at the most crucial time in the biggest game of the year, on the biggest stage with the biggest stakes, this winds up sending a championship game back to New England. It's kind of unfathomable in a year when we talk about all that's gone wrong with the league, from the knee and injuries and CTE mounting and all the other problems they're having, fans staying away and all that. They still can't define what is and isn't a catch for you Yins and that and the Berg and that.
It blows my mind. I watched that play. To me, that's a catch. The knee was down. He had control of the ball. He turns. He stretches out. And, okay, if anything, it's a fumble. And then he recovers his own fumble, and it's still a touchdown. But according to the letter of the law, as they're saying, with the catch rule, that isn't a catch. And you know what? As a Steeler fan, it upsets me. But you know what? I'm realistic about it. Stop Gronk. Don't let him catch 9 balls for 168 yards in the 2-point conversion. Sean Davis, don't drop a gift-wrapped interception from Tom Brady to end the game. Juju Smith, don't run out of gas when you're running 69 yards all alone and you get stopped short of the end zone. Ben Roethlisberger, you know better. Don't throw an interception into the middle of the field with 4 guys around your only receiver you were eyeballing the whole way. So while, yes, that was a BS call, in my opinion, the Steelers have nobody to blame but themselves for losing that game.
The Kenny Roda out on Twitter and at 1480. Dude, I'm going to darken your doorstep, spend some more time with you at some point down the line here. I do love the Ric Flair photo on your Twitter. I mean, that, woo! You know,
he's the man. In order to be the man, you got to beat the man. Woo! And the Steelers and the Ravens and everybody are trying to beat Tom Brady. He's kind of the Ric Flair of the NFL right now.
Yeah, he's one hell of a heel. I'll tell you that, man. It's fun to hate him and the deflated balls and all the stuff that goes along with it. Hey, we'll come out and see you soon. I know. I hear 52 is going to be welcomed out there with open arms in Canton, Ohio. Correct?
Well, I don't know about open arms, but he'll be put into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. That should be a very interesting story to see how that goes once Ray Lewis gets in here in Canton.
Brother, we'll catch up soon, man. Good luck out there in Canton, Ohio. He is the Kenny Roda out on Twitter and the Kenny and JT show in the afternoons out there at WHBC, and you can find him at WHBC.com as well. You can find me out in the Buy at Toyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. Tune us in wherever you happen to be, static free. It's like Steely Dan, no static at all. King Discount Liquors is there with lottery, beer, booze, and the best prices in Baltimore. Get on over to Pulaski Highway. Give my friends at King Discount Liquors a ring. I'm working on a new commercial here this winter with them over there. So for those of you who get our kitschy commercials, I've had some fun doing those commercials. Anytime they involve the family over there, I try to get involved. King Discount Liquor's been with us for 15 years. I got to stock up on my Malbec, on my craft beer collection for this week as we get Festivus going. I'm going to be hanging my purple holiday lights in here as well. A morning newspaper ships to your email inbox each and every morning at 7 a.m. It's all brought to you by Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com, where it's $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life. And 2018 is ringing ding-dinging. Cookies. I was in Cleveland in the press box. I told the lady, how dare you put cookies and cheesecake and cake and pie and ice cream out in front of me Christmas week. But that's what Planet Fitness is for. $10 a month, never any commitment. Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com. Don't forget on Thursday, Dennis Colatzos is here from 3 until 5. It is the SSV on WNST, all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. They also sponsor our WNST tech service. We are awaiting the Manny Machado sweepstakes outcome. First thing you have to have is one bidder. I'm not sure that they have that yet, but when a trade is made of any magnitude, you'll get it first on the WNST Tech Service. It's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. I am Nestor. Nasty at WNST.net reaches me. I am, much like Mr. Angelos has been for his 24 years of stewardship of the Orioles here, a very available individual. I'm actually writing about the ghost of Baltimore football, past, present, and future, in between my sneezes, at WNST.net. And if you're following along on any of our social media, I'll be sharing those pieces midweek. And there's a lot to be said about the empty seats and what it means, and my vibe toward Cleveland and the Colts coming to town here in the end of the Marvin Lewis administration, and what would be deemed the glorious period of Baltimore Ravens football, and questioning whether it's coming to an end. Just being honest, just calling it the way I see it, the way I have here for 33 years. So you want to go out to WNST.net and read up on that as well. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.